Hello, 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 and welcome back
Hey,
to
hey, hey.
realiTEACheckpodcast, where tea is served
We
and
back. We back.
are dispersed.
Checks on.
My
Let's
name
go.
is Mare, one of your co-hosts, and this is
Hi, guys, and I'm Diana.
no, she's a mess.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Girl, you got to get
Um,
goofy a little bit. Have fun with it.
mhm. It is, it is. You gotta have, even though some of these shows are draining my energy, um, we still find ways to like
Girl, I
infuse them.
can't.
I know. But before we start,
Yeah.
everybody who's watching, you have to have a drink with you. You have to have a drink with you. And you know, we always talk about what are we drinking before we start the podcast. So D, I'll start. I know I'm drinking H2O. That is hydrogen, two parts hydrogen, one part oxygen, just for anybody who doesn't know what that means. But yes.
I don't know. I'm thinking about that. What is it? Three
That's
hydrogen and one oxygen. Because for those that don't know, child, you got to let them
I'm
know.
telling you. I'm telling you. Okay,
Yes.
you drinking.
I'm actually drinking a smoothie from Tropical Cafe. It's a green island smoothie with spinach and green stuff. Job. Kale, spinach, banana, pineapple, mango.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
They have it over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Right
cool.
next to me.
You know, the funny thing is
Mm-hmm.
like when I drive around my neighborhood and I see certain things that we've talked about on the show, like certain um like businesses or whatever. Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, Joint Chiropractic. Every time I see it, I freak out. Like I just am like,
Girl.
ew.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you the truth. It is so weird living out in the DMV and having a housewife show based in the
Yeah.
DMV. Because I think it was last season, Candace and Ineka, they were like going to a restaurant. They met up at a restaurant and Candace was walking and I'm like,
You like,
I
I know that place.
I know I know that place. And it was actually she was literally walking like down the street from my church. And I was like, this is downtown
Are
Silver
you
Spring.
serious?
And yes, and then they met up at the restaurant that like I really enjoy, Miss Toya's. Really good food. I was actually just there just last night. So it was
Mm.
kind of like interesting how,
Hmm.
they just meet up at places that are very common and very local.
That is very
No
true.
shade. No shade.
You said no shade by saying no shade for it.
No, because I just realized that that could actually be come off as shady. Then you say, very common and very local.
Uh-huh. That is
But
so
who
true.
knows? Anyways, so Real Housewives of Dubai premiered last night. And the women came, I think I, I don't know why this season is coming 2 years after the first
Hmm.
season.
Yep.
And
Talk about it.
I felt like Bravo didn't really do a good job with marketing Dubai relative to the other housewife shows.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's pretty interesting because, I feel like there's a special type of care that you have to have and devote to some of the newer shows that are on the network. And they didn't do that. And I'm wondering why.
Yeah, it's a big wonder because like those girls, that's a cast. That's an ensemble. Like they are an act. That's and when you even think about like housewives and what you want to see with housewives, they all had their own businesses. They're
Yeah.
working, they're glamorous, they're fun. Their shade is
Yeah.
not to the core. It doesn't cut deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Chanel Ayan, me and Diana were just talking about it. She's a
She's a
star.
star. She is a
She
star.
is hilarious to me. Even my
She is a
mom, when my
star.
mom watches her, my mom is like, "Hey,
Yeah.
this
Yep.
girl, like, she is a star." And so
Mm-hmm.
Dubai should be promoted heavily because that is the opulence we're looking for. We don't want to be around housewives who make the same amount of money we do. We don't want to see that. Like,
Talk about it
we want to
because
see this. We want to see how ridiculous it is. Like, if I remember, sometimes what is it? One time I saw on a Dubai show, I think it's a license plate cost $3 million. I said, who?
mm-hmm,
I said, where
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
why? Right?
They call
But
me
that,
Dubis in Dubai.
but that's what we want to see. Why are
Yeah,
we not seeing it,
absolutely.
Bravo? Why?
And I also question the idea, like, why did they actually leave the country before having
True.
another city? You know what I mean? Like, I
True.
guess I just don't understand if Dubai was just, if it's, I don't know if it's too much, or I don't really know what the reason is. I can't even speculate what the reason is behind them not promoting it as much as they promote other shows. Why did you just not stay in the US
I think
and
that's a
have a
very,
show
very
in
good
the
question.
US?
That's a very
You
good
know?
question, especially considering that when they were trying to start out in Dubai, the Dubai government was like, no.
Yeah, because there are certain things that happen on the US housewife shows that are allegedly, not allegedly, apparently
Yeah,
illegal
apparently illegal
in
in
Dubai.
Dubai. Absolutely.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, I've never been to Dubai. I do plan on visiting very soon. But I've never been to Dubai, so I don't know exactly what, like, the actual legalities around some of the things that, they that are pedestaled
Yeah.
um on like American
Television.
housewife shows. But yeah, but apparently it's just not something that is tolerated in Dubai.
Yeah.
So I it's just a very big question mark. I will say that I am not looking forward to, and I'm kind of disappointed in the fallout between Chanel Ayan and Lessa Milan.
I know. It's
I
so
really
weird.
love their friendship.
It's so
I'm
weird. And
so
it's all
mad.
over all over Caroline. Is it
Stanberry,
Stanberry?
apparently. I
Like,
don't know.
I was like, why? But I feel like it almost feel honestly, like, it does feel like Chanel Ayan has come onto this season with a game plan of some sort.
Mm.
Even
Mm.
looking at the first episode, sometimes like when you looked at the way she was looking at the waiter during that sit down with Caroline, and then she looked at the camera and she looked nervous, and
Mm.
I was like, well, I was like, what's going on? She Chanel, like, what's going on? So it's almost sometimes
Mm.
I feel like, yeah, she has a big personality, but I wonder. My question is, does she play it up 1,000 times more
Hmm.
to make herself camera worthy, right?
Hmm. I think
Um,
that's a good question to ask. I'm wondering because there's something that she had mentioned on the newest episode in the season premiere, and she had shared that, I guess, when she had shared her trauma story about how she was forced into being circumcised, excuse me. um a lot of her people from her from her country, and that are also a part of that culture, similar to what happened with NECA from Potomac, really came hard for her because
mhm,
apparently it's a taboo to talk about. Now, I don't
mhm,
know her culture, so I'm not going to
mhm.
purport myself to be knowledgeable about specifically what the ins and outs and the nuances to speaking about certain things within the culture. But apparently, she receives a lot of vitriol because of this. Now, that pegs the question: did that create a lot more camera awareness than it did her first season? You know what I mean? Where she may now be really watching what she's saying.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Don't know.
fair. That's fair. That's fair. So that's a fair question to ask, and I think that would be lovely if she could answer that for us. Um,
Come on here, Chanel Leon.
on the
You know,
podcast.
one of her other castmates, we won't say who, did agree to come on, but I don't know, there's like some miscommunication with like management and stuff. But
Yeah,
so hopefully we can get one of the women from Dubai on
yeah.
our podcast.
I think they would love to come, and I think we would love to have them. And
Absolutely.
but anyway, we will talk about Dubai next week a little bit more when we see
Yes.
another episode. But today we are going to be focusing on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. A lot went down, and then also Diana, I know I just want to add this little thing that we need to talk about, which is going to be about the fact that there is no reunion
We
for the
should
Real
talk about
Housewives
it.
of New
Mm-hmm.
Jersey. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we should definitely talk about that, and we
Let's
will
talk
talk about
about
it.
it.
Let's try to glaze over some of these other topics a little bit quicker so that we can get to
Okay.
that, because that's
Let's do it.
that's a meaty thing.
Let's
So,
do it. Yeah.
hmm
Let's do it. So I guess we can start off first with like Marge and her husband, Joe Benigno. There's a little bit of an interesting dynamic that Marge is bringing forth, and I just want to start with saying that it seems like this is her storyline for the season. I'm saying this to the fans that will say that people don't have storylines. She's telling you all that she's having marriage issues because her ex-husband passed away.
Yeah.
And it's causing dissension between her and Joe. And this is a very, very odd dynamic, being that the ex-husband that she cheated on,
Mhm.
she waited on this man
He's married.
with the man that she's currently married to. That man, they build a friendship. That
Hmm.
man passes away, and it
Hmm.
in turn causes issues in her current marriage with the man that she had an affair with. It's like almost like a little bit of a brain buster, but it's for me, I just also feel like this may sound so bad, and I want to say this also with the greatest respect and sensitivity to the deceased and the person that is in mourning.
Hey, what you gonna say?
No,
Don't
but
no.
like if this person, if you ruined your marriage with this person and now this person's death is causing problems in your marriage with the person that you left them with, what else is that one now?
I know. I don't know. I think it seems like Margaret's life is chaotic. It doesn't seem like she doesn't talk to her kids. So it seems like Jan's death has caused this rupture even more, right? Because like apparently from what she said Jan was the middleman, right? Between her and those kids. Now that he is gone, she probably has to even put in some more effort to have interaction with her kids. Or now that she's gone, those kids don't even want to speak to her like anymore,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I think that honestly, it tracks, it makes sense because if you think about, just think about it from any, let's take a Marge out of it and forget the fact that she's on TV, right? Any
Mm-hmm.
situation where a spouse or a parent um, cheats or has an affair or is the cause of the family breaking up and not being what they are used to it being, of
Hmm.
course resentment is going to build. And I am also not going to sit here and act like maybe there are other things there. I'm sure there are other things that we don't know, right, that Margaret will not reveal on the TV show. Then that's completely okay. That's, her business. I just think that it makes sense for them to have resentment. And the person that she caused the most pain to in this situation forgave her, right?
Yeah.
And was
Yeah.
able to be in a different place with her. So naturally, you will then become the middle person. You
Yeah.
will be the glue that brings these two parties together. So if that glue is no longer there, that where is the relationship and where does that
100.
stand? An already fractured relationship,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I am not mistaken, if I am mistaken, somebody please correct me in the chat. Margaret, I believe most of those children are not like naturally
Not
her
her
naturally born
biological
children. Yeah,
kids.
she
No.
does have, I think, one or two, I believe, naturally born children, but
From a different marriage, right?
I don't know. That I don't know. I
How
can't
many times
remember.
has she been married? Is it two times or three times? I don't know. I can't tell.
Child, I do not know.
Every single time.
Let me look this up.
She always talk about being the second wife. So, child.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's like, I'm the second wife of my current husband. Joe has been married before.
Oh,
Um,
that means Joe Benigno.
hmm.
Yeah, I mean she definitely. I remember he was married too when they, excuse me, had their affair.
Yes, when they had their affair. Hmm.
Wow.
I mean, I feel for her, but I feel like, her tears and her erratic feelings right now is due to the fact that I think that similar to kind of what you said before, it's due to
Wow.
the fact it's like her sins have come to haunt her again.
Please
Haunt her
cut
again.
that part out, please, Jesus.
I will cut it out, but like her sins have like come to haunt her again, and the repercussions of what she has done to the family, she knows that she can't, like,
And has to
without
deal
Jan,
with.
she can't repair it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I think that's a harsh reality to deal
Yeah.
with. And I'm wondering, like, what is Joe Benigno really upset about? Like, why is this causing dissension? Like, why is he upset with her mourning?
Could he be thinking that, are you still in love with the man? Like, why are you mourning him
But
in
even
this
if that
way?
were to be true, like, what exactly can she do about that now?
Nothing. Nothing.
You get what I'm saying? But I mean,
Hmm.
okay.
All right.
I guess in the audience, let us know what you think about this story and this dynamic between Marge and her husband, and the fact that her ex-husband's death has now caused dissension in her current marriage. Um, Moving on.
Yep, moving on. We are talking about Danielle Cabral.
Child.
Cabral, Miss Long Island. I will have to say that Danielle as a housewife has truly disappointed me. She has not shown up the way that I want her to show up. She really wants to be liked by everybody and doesn't want issues. I'm like, girl, no. But anyway, so again, we've had this conversation time without end for about 2 weeks. Danielle's like dropping little hints about things that are happening between in her family. We heard last season about the fact that her brother had returned the gift that she had sent to them, and that she didn't attend her brother's wedding, and her brother's not talking to her and all that stuff. And apparently now her father is somebody that she is not talking to. And it's not like just, I'm not talking to you for like 2 days. She hasn't talked to this man in a year. In a year. Because
Bro.
he has been taking the side of her brother way too much. That was her reason. So she doesn't fully tell us the whole story. So we don't really contextually understand what happened in the initial stages of the issue between you and your brother and his wife, right? What
Um,
happened?
I kind of feel like Danielle really wants this, respectfully, Teresa, Joe, Melissa type of
Mm.
situation and story on New Jersey Housewives, but is unwilling to really fully go deep into it. Because if you remember at the reunion last season, she had mentioned that Real Housewives of New Jersey is her brother's favorite show.
Yes,
You get what I'm
yes,
saying? So it kind of like
yes.
almost a little bit seemed like there was an opening door to kind of get him and his
Hmm.
wife on the show,
Yes,
so that she's now the new like Teresa, Joe,
yes.
Melissa dynamic situation. And it's just not giving, because, and I truly don't really have an opinion on Danielle because she's not saying anything. And it's like, if you're not saying anything, then don't talk at all. Like, what
That's
exactly, if you're not going to share, is what is the reason? It cannot be. I just don't buy that her brother is not like completely cut her out of her life because she blocked him on Instagram.
girl.
I there's no way. And then because your father is, as kids we may say like taking sides, but it could be maybe trying to have you consider a different perspective, or it could be
Yes,
so many things, right?
yes,
Because he is doing that, because this man was on the same show last season and was
yes, he
crying at
was.
the fact that
Yes,
his
he
children
was.
were not speaking.
Yes, he
And then
was.
you cut him off too for and your reasoning that you're telling us is because he
Nah.
continued to side with your brother. Is it editing and they're cutting out a lot of things that she is maybe saying, or is she not saying anything at all? Like, what are we getting?
It's giving fabrication. It's giving like it's not real all the way.
Yeah,
Like it's giving like we are trying to force this story. For me,
girl.
first of all, how dare you as a child cut off your father? Period. Number one. How dare you as a child say that I'm only speaking to my mother? Especially when your father has not abused you, he has not hit you, he hasn't done anything. I'm sorry. Why would she cut off her father and not talk to him for a
Girl.
full year? Because he's trying to give her a perspective of her brother and what it is that he's thinking about. It, to me, seems like Danielle is the problem. Okay?
And you
So
cut
it
him off
seems,
from his grandchildren?
and from his grandkids, like, how dare you do that? Like, that's
I
inappropriate.
I don't
That's
know.
so inappropriate. I am like, I mean, we can't. n- I'm pissed about it because I'm like, how
Yeah.
dare you do that? And then also your mom.
Yeah.
I know that mom and dad are divorced, right? But like for your
I
mom,
think so.
yes, because for your mom to be the only person you're talking to, Has your mom not been telling you like you're you need to have this man come and see his grandkids? You need to have this man be around in the house. What is happening?
I kind of feel like, if honestly, if I'm hearing that someone has cut off their family member, I need to hear a severe reason to follow up with that.
Severe.
If it's none of my business, then you need
Severe.
to not bring it up at all. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if you have cut off your father and have cut him out of not only your life, your husband's life, and your children's life, then it's either one of two things. We need to get a severe reason why, and not this elementary, he is siding with my brother too much, whatever. Because again, allegedly, it's only because of Instagram that you and your brother are not speaking, or whatever the case is. Or sorry, I just had a brain fart. I'm so sorry. What were the two reasons that I said?
The
I'm so
first
sorry. Where did my head just go?
the first reason, you need a severe reason for why you're cutting off your father. And number two, the fact that you only
Oh,
cut
need
off the
not bring it up at all. Sorry.
Instagram. Uh-huh.
I'm
Go
so
ahead.
sorry. Anyway, so yeah, so like I was saying, so you either need to have one of two reasons. Either you are going to let us know what the severe reason, it has to be a severe reason why you have cut off your father, or
Hmm.
you're not going to bring it up at all. And we don't need to speak about it. And we don't need to know about it, because to be honest with you, I don't really see the difference between us not knowing that Danielle and her father are, or she's not speaking to her father, versus when we didn't know and didn't care, because it's still the
Yeah,
same. I
like
still
because
don't
it's the
care.
same, and especially because the cameras aren't following your family like that. When you say something like that, I would have loved to see what the father's perspective was, and what was going on. But we're not following your family like that, and this just continues. And the way that she even dropped it into the conversation she was having with Melissa and Rachel, like, oh yeah, and by the way, I'm not talking to my father. I was like,
Can I say I really did like Melissa's response, because she she's coming from the angle, I think, that obviously she's also lost her father, right?
yeah,
Melissa lost her father in her teenage years, but she also, I mean, she had her father-in-law, right? That she also had to watch pass away. And it's
yeah,
kind of like that was a father figure, you know? I know that Melissa's mom and Joe Gorga's dad, they got along really well, you know?
yeah.
So I think from that perspective, she's telling Danielle, like, you don't have much time with your father, and he is here. So if there's any type of like mundane reason that you can just maybe get over, you should probably have that conversation and talk to him, and honestly stop this nonsense, because it doesn't really make any sense, you know? I thought that was good advice to give a friend in that moment, because I think Danielle really needs to hear that.
Do you think Danielle doesn't know that? Like it's like, yeah, she needs to hear it, but I'm like, girl, she knows that. She knows
Do you
that.
think
Like that's
so? No,
oh
for real, do you
yeah, she's
actually
not
think
an
so?
idiot. She's not dumb. Like she
Um,
knows that.
hmm. No, respectfully, I question that a little bit. Because
Tell me why.
how do you come on national television and you tell an entire audience of millions of people that the reason why you and your brother are not speaking is because of Instagram?
That's true. You're right. You're right. You're
An
right.
intelligent person does that?
There may be a little bit of unintelligence
I,
there, but
I can't reconcile.
I guess I like to give people a little bit more credence
Yeah,
than what they show. But like, yeah, 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 yeah. I can see that. I can see that. Okay. All right.
I don't know.
So we
Anyways, I'm done with Danielle.
away.
Ciao. Moving on. Yeah, Melissa and Jen, Aiden met up
Can I
for
can I
lunch because I
can I
mhm,
can I be honest? Can I be honest? You're
mhm.
gonna carry this one because I really fast forwarded through their table conversation. Uh,
You know what?
sorry.
Actually, I'm gonna be honest with you. No, 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 it's fine. We don't actually have to talk about it, because now I just realized I don't really have anything to say. So Jackie Goldschneider is driving me a little bit crazy this season,
Oh, why?
because I feel that she is very desperate to be liked by Teresa. And I think we have seen that throughout her time here on New Jersey Housewives. You know, she started off, and I think Teresa was calling her a fan her first
Yes.
season. And we realized that, like, Jackie Goldschneider went out of her way to bring all of her 7 children on hip, her leg, and her toe to come and do a book signing with Teresa. Remember that picture that they showed?
Mm-hmm.
And she
Hmm.
spent this time, I think that, like, maybe when she first got on, she kind of unintentionally started to beef with Teresa, but maybe unintentionally also to kind of get her attention, and has been in my opinion, this pretentious, annoying person to kind of watch on television. Yeah, just really annoying. And even now, she like in this on this season with her now switching because obviously Teresa has targeted her and sought out for Jacqueline's friendship because of the dissension between her, Jacqueline and Marge. And I feel like Jackie knows that it's calculated on Teresa's end, but Jackie just really wants to be friends with Teresa for whatever reason. And her desperation is annoying me. The desperation for me, I don't think comes necessarily from, not 100% comes from her friendship with Teresa because, you know, things happen, whatever. But I think like what I really cannot understand and get behind is her infatuation with Danielle not inviting her to something.
I know.
I don't get that because her and Danielle have issues. She specifically intentionally started an issue with Danielle last season when she was talking about like I think she said your hamper shorts or some nonsense. I don't know what she said about Danielle. So when she's not getting camera time, she like gets upset like, "Oh, you haven't even looked at me all this whole scene or whatever." And I'm not understanding why Jackie feels so entitled to all of these things from these new people when she hasn't built that connection with them. And
Or
it's just
even,
giving.
yeah, it's giving desperate, but like, sorry to cut you off, but,
Mm-hmm.
or the example of the neediness that she has to be included, even in that last scene in the episode where she came in to Danielle's glam, whatever the heck that thing was, what she called it, and she's like, "Oh,
I don't know what Danielle be doing nowadays. I don't. They
I
wear
don't know
glitter.
either.
I don't know. She calls herself bougie, and I'm like
Bougie."
looking for it.
I said, "Baby
I'm
girl, there's nothing bougie here. Ain't nothing bougie here.
I'm
We can
looking. I'm like, okay, did I miss it somewhere? Like, where is the bougie,
okay, girl."
girl?
No, but like when Jackie was like, "Oh, thank you for including me. Thank you for inviting me." I was like, Jackie, you're too intelligent for this. Like, you know, like this is it's not necessary.
And when did Jackie become a person that's such a shell of herself that she like you? All of your time here had an issue with Teresa. So
Mm-mm.
when were you not a person that spoke up to people? I guess I'm not getting that. Like
Yeah.
she keeps on saying this and pushing this narrative that she was not a confident person, so she wouldn't speak up in situations, but now she's found her voice. I don't get it. You literally
You
told Teresa 2 seasons ago, did you get that confidence in jail?
Yeah, and the way she said it in jail.
Yeah. You were very brawlic 2 seasons ago, so how come all of a sudden now you just found your voice? It's very weird to me. And
And it's really interesting that it's after her book. After her book that she's written, that all of a sudden she
she's a
has
shell of
become
herself.
a shell of herself.
I don't know. I found the dinner or lunch or whatever that they had very interesting because I think that obviously though the messenger is probably the wrong person when Rachel and Melissa were telling I don't know how this came up, but they were referring to Teresa, I think, being a bully. And they were like, you bullied Jackie all this time and you came and you brought these rumors about Jackie's husband onto this show.
Yeah.
And Jackie started screaming, stop talking about that. And I'm like, wait, what? Are you upset with them for
I've
that?
been I've been trying to find man, I wish I had the source. You know, sometimes like when I'm scrolling through social media, I read a couple of things and I'm like, okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, whoever was this is all alleged, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The plan for this season, because I can't really completely come to terms or believe that Jackie could ever want to be friends with Teresa, like at all. The way Danielle said,
Really?
I gotta call a spade, like this is weird. And I was like, yes, I agree, it's weird. If you talked about my
Mm-hmm.
husband last season and the way that I came for you last season, sure, I can forgive you, but I am not going to be your friend. And I don't think
But Jackie's
Jackie's that
all in, girl. She's all in.
and she's all in. Now, here's why she might be all in. So, according to a source of which I will find, right?
Yeah.
When Jackie had her book signing for her book, that attorney of Teresa's
I think I know what you're. Mm-hmm.
approached Jackie
Mm-hmm.
The plan being that knowing that Teresa
Allegedly.
can, huh?
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
Mm-hmm.
allegedly, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that, so Jackie's coming on as a friend of, in order for Jackie to become full-time housewife, he planned with her for her to make an allegiance with Teresa, and to because
Mm-hmm.
Teresa also cannot move forward in the show in the way that she's been moving if she only has Jen Aiden by her
Mm-hmm.
side. She needs other people to be by her side. And this is all alleged. And I will find the source and I will put it on the screen for y'all to go and check it out. But I thought that
Yeah.
was a very interesting plot, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying I do not believe Jackie in her desperate attempts to want to be friends with Teresa. I don't think she wants to be friends with Teresa. I think Jackie wants a full-time slot on the show. Last season, I kept calling her this one. This one. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, why is this one
Like Queen
here? Why?
Dolores. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was like,
That's
why?
another thing too. You try to fight Dolores. So how
Yeah,
you you just found your voice?
like
Go ahead.
literally.
Sorry.
And
Sorry.
so I know Jackie has been wanting to climb back into the show since last season when she was demoted to being a friend
Mm-hmm.
up because she wasn't full time. So now,
Mm-hmm.
allegedly, with this plan, it kind of it kind of checks for,
Yeah. I
what
think it
she wants.
tracks. Yeah, it
Hmm.
absolutely tracks, especially given all that we have heard about, New Jersey
Yeah.
this season. It absolutely tracks with the whole allegedly the lawyer, trying to step in or whatever. I definitely think that Jackie wants a full-time spot. And you're right, that could be her desperation the desperation is to get the full-time spot back because Andy didn't
Hmm.
even ask her. He asked her at the last reunion, were you embarrassed to go from full-time to friend of, which Andy,
Yeah.
the fact that he asked that
He's so
question.
messy. He is so messy, that man. He
Uh,
said, "How dare
the
you?
fact that you
You
asked this grown woman question, I'm like,
right?
bro, you don't get shame.
You
And
know? Yeah.
anyways, he asked her, and I don't know if her response was like, yeah, no, 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 whatever. But definitely there seems to be like a desperation to get back to where she once was, and I feel like Jackie knows that the way to do that is to,
Align
create
it.
an issue between you and the person that you have, excuse me, been best friends with on this show, and to become friends with, her
She's her
arch
arch
nemesis.
nemesis, basically.
So I can
Yeah.
definitely agree with that alleged information,
Mhm.
if it be true. I just thought it was very interesting that, again, wrong messenger. Melissa was like, Jackie, I'm not going to let you forget the fact that she did, try to basically almost
Right.
destroy your relationship and your husband's reputation. And Jackie is interpreting that and internalizing that as, you can't tell me how to feel about it. I've healed from it. And it's like, wait, hold on. Hold up. She didn't say that you should feel anyway. She said that that's what happened.
Mhm.
That's what happened. We can roll the cameras and we saw that that's what happened. Teresa ran around that party and told everybody that would listen that, have you heard about Evan sleeping with a girl in the gym or whatever she said, right?
Yep.
So for now, Jackie to act as if like she's not able to assess and evaluate properly what Melissa is saying and intentionally misunderstand what she's saying and misinterpret her words is very telling, I think, of her desperation
Desperation, yeah.
and wanting to flip the narrative. So, yeah, that was a little
Need money.
gaslighty.
She must need.
And it's a little disappointing and shocking being that this woman is a lawyer. Is she a lawyer or an attorney?
She is an attorney. She just she stopped practicing because of the fact that, she had kids.
Yeah, very
Um,
interesting.
but the thing for me is Jackie is the most learned of them all there,
Hmm.
right?
She don't act
And
like it.
she doesn't act like it. And I'm shocked. I'm shocked because when she could stand on her own 2 feet in all the other seasons,
Hmm.
I liked that Jackie. Like I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, she's the type of girl that was going to give it to you as is, and she would say
Hmm.
certain things as is, but she also like knew how to play the game. She could assess the situation. She could look at somebody and be like, okay, I'm not gonna go here. But the woman does suffer from something that can also cause emotional and mental weaknesses, right? And I have to remind myself sometimes of that, maybe delving deep into the dark history of her issues and writing that book. Sometimes like when you write a book about
Mm-hmm.
something in your past life,
Mm-hmm.
it could, create those insecurities and breed those things all over again, and it can
Mm-hmm.
heighten certain things for you. So is it possible that those things had been happening to her during the time of filming? So much so that she just seems more desperate than normal and than necessary. Because to be quite frank with you, I don't think Jackie needs Teresa's friendship.
She
Jackie
doesn't
is
need it, but I feel like
just
she really
fine,
wants it.
but she
I
really wants it. Yeah,
yeah.
for what reason though? But why? Why?
I
Like it's not an organic reason. Like it's not organic.
yeah.
It's
I
fake.
really, now that you say that, like, you think her desperation is to be on the show, I really think that that you hit the nail on the head with that one. Honestly, I think that she desperately wants to, one, she desperately wants to be Teresa's friend because I think that she has been a fan of
Mhm.
this show,
Yeah.
um, and has really tried to maybe go out of her way to like meet Teresa or whatever. Um, but I think that she also wants her full time spot back.
She does. She does. She needs the money.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
similar to Jen Aiden. Jen Aiden is thirsty, child. She really wants to be on this show.
Yeah, she needs help. Like, yeah, Jen Aiden needs a lot of
I'm
serious
sorry.
help. And yeah.
Anyways, child, let's move on to Teresa and Rachel.
Okay.
Uh,
So the biggest thing that
what a
happened
mess.
in this episode and the end of the episode was that sit down at the Bling Brunch, or I'm gonna call it Bling Brunch because there's a bunch
Girl,
of
move on. I don't, I don't know what that was.
and the blowout between Rachel and Teresa. I'm so interested in knowing what people thought about that blow up, but I thought that there were some comedic spots in there that made me crack up, and I was just cracking up.
Who are those comedic
Um,
spots?
no, the one that I told you about where Teresa was just like, "What is the question?" I was cracking up. I was like, she's like, what is the question? She's like, oh, so he was a parking attendant? So he was a parking attendant? Maybe he should have been, maybe a drug dealer was better. Like, I was like, yo, this lady, she is so funny to me sometimes. So anyway,
I don't find her to be
we
funny.
know.
I felt like in those moments, honestly, when she asked what is the question, I was like, well, okay, she'll tell it to you for a fourth time after asking you probably three times. But hey, go for it, Teresa.
What was the question, Dana? What was the question that she
The
was
question
asking?
simply was, what were your intentions
What was
with
her
saying that my
intention?
husband is a drug dealer? I don't think it was
It
wasn't even
wasn't
like
that hard to
a
understand. But
difficult question.
I
She
remember
just
I
didn't
did a
want to
post,
answer it because she didn't have an answer. She didn't know
she
how to
didn't have an
answer it.
answer.
So
We
she was
know
trying to
Teresa's
deviate and
not
stall and
quick.
deflect.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
didn't Jen Aiden say it at the table? We know that she's not the best with her words and like saying certain things.
Which is why
And
she has a person like Jen Aiden by her side. She knows what she's doing.
yeah, she does know what she's doing. Well, that's kind of smart for her to know to do
Of
that.
course. It
I'm kind
absolutely
of like,
is. But similar
okay.
to what Dolores said is in the moment, there's nothing going on.
There is nothing
Give it a
going on.
few days and
Then
where she's able to talk it out with people, have people feed her with what to say, that's when
she's
you'll
gonna
see
come.
something. She has to be fed the
Yeah,
lines to do so, is
yeah.
my opinion and my observation of Teresa over the years. Because even if you take a look at her reunion performances,
They all came
Teresa's,
from social media, right?
yeah, especially last season. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Everything that was said on social media about Melissa, that's what Teresa was
Yeah,
spewing out. And I'm
yeah,
like, baby girl, this is bad. This is real
yeah.
bad.
That's
But I kind of
hmm
felt like Rachel ate her up, not gonna lie. When she called her a
Rachel.
stupid bee, I was like, oh, I know, but no one has ever called Teresa a stupid bee. And I'm sorry.
No, she did. Rachel came to fight. Like there was no ifs,
And
ands, or
Rachel
buts
made
about
a
it.
good point too. When she
What she
said,
said.
you went to jail as an adult, my husband went to jail as a kid and made something of his life. What's your excuse?
Teresa
So,
isn't
who?
smart, but I have something to say. I have something to say to that. It's like Teresa didn't do this to herself. Her husband did it to
I'm
her.
so sorry, but legally, we cannot say that. her name was on the documentation. She signed the documentation. So even if it was your husband that did it,
I
it's your
mean, she
signature
trusted her
that's on.
husband.
Ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Sometimes it is because she
Well,
trusted
the
her husband.
excuse got her to jail.
It got her to jail, but like she trusted her
So,
husband. But I
yeah, she
will say,
trust. See what? But you see what trust got her?
yeah,
Like
it did.
blind
I know,
loyal.
but
You
like
see?
honestly, so the argument that Rachel is really necessarily making doesn't necessarily like cut all the way there because like this is something about a partnership she had, and it wasn't like she was like she wasn't the one concocting all these plans and then went to jail for it. She just trusted her husband and signed on the dotted line.
But that's
Um,
where I feel like we could also make the argument that, like, also Teresa bringing up John Fuda and his past also is kind of, it's a
it's
little
kind of
bit
ridiculous.
obsolete because if he was a
Yeah.
teenager when this
You-
happened, we're both educators. We see
Yeah.
kids making stupid
Yeah.
decisions all the
Yeah.
time. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I kind of feel like then at that point, what's the point of bringing that up? You know what
Bringing
I
that up,
mean? So
there was no
there
point.
was
It
no
was
point.
no point
I
to
mean,
bringing it up, and
allegedly, we know why. Allegedly,
what
given
is it?
like what we've seen. Oh,
What do we know?
girl.
What do we know?
Allegedly, girl,
What was
because Teresa gave her brother and her sister the kiss of death last season and was like, I'm not gonna see you again. You gone from this show. Nah, nah, nah. Allegedly, she still needed, like, she obviously could not use them as her like gateway
right?
into a conflict, so she had to use the Fudas. So it
Oh,
was an intentional like even I remember we talked about it on one of our episodes. We were like, you could see that the way that she even started that argument was like, you're not as upset as, like, there's nothing that Rachel said that warranted
that warranted
the
any type of reaction.
vitriol and the level of anger that you came with to then just randomly drop your husband's a drug dealer. You get what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't, it wasn't giving, I'm really
Wasn't giving.
upset. If your
Yep,
husband said, if she said to you, your husband's not a gentleman, and you're like, well, your husband's a drug dealer, like, those two insults
they don't
they
match.
don't match. So she came with the intent to drop a bomb. Um,
Yeah,
she did it.
yeah, she did.
She was successful in
She
doing
did.
that because,
Successful.
so,
Because it's detonated Miss Rachel, because Miss Rachel is like on fire. She's no longer
mm-hmm,
drunk. She's sober, and she
mm-hmm,
can like she
mm-hmm.
can come for Teresa, and she did. She came for Teresa, but I'm gonna need her not to call her hot dog lips because Rachel, you have the same lips, baby girl. Like, don't
I
do that.
just don't,
Cut that out.
you know,
Like seriously. Like
I'm gonna reserve
why
my
are people
comments.
for first of all, people stop coming for people's features. Like that's just like
Yeah.
ridiculous. But Rachel, girl, you have the same. Y'all are going to the same doctors. Like, cut it
I,
out. Okay?
I don't know that, I would say that majority of these women should not be talking about people's looks.
No, they shouldn't. Like at all, at all. But anyway, that was a great scene. And when Teresa was leaving the scene and took her gift and walked away, and how everybody was just kind of like, or whatever, I
Mhm.
thought it was just so funny. I'm like, everything was comedic to me because I'm like, y'all are so grown that you guys can't even have like a regular conversation. It has to be this yelling and screaming match.
Yeah.
You know, for me, if I was just Rachel Fuda, I probably would have paid Teresa dust. I'm not even like paying her any attention because the thing is, no, the thing is this, like you know it, just like anybody who wants to antagonize you and bully you and all that stuff, it's gonna take a one moment for you to have to pounce on them and they'll never come at you ever again. But with this particular thing, Teresa is looking for your reaction. She needs your reaction to continue to further this because we know this is like the plan, right? So if Rachel continues to give her the reaction, oh my God, and her husband is no better.
Child.
He doesn't know how to compose himself as a calm-mannered human being, and we saw in the preview that's coming up what the sit down, whatever
Yeah.
that nonsense that we're about to see.
But then
No.
I wonder then, like, because technically Rachel has two choices, right?
Hmm.
She has a choice where she says nothing and completely pays Teresa dust. Or she has a choice where she's going to really give it to Teresa and give it to her hot on a nice silver and gold platter.
Yeah, yeah,
But one of those, it's like almost like if she's damned if she doesn't. She's damned if she does. She's damned if she doesn't. Because if she ignores Teresa, technically her job's on the line. Because at this point, you're not performing.
mm, mm,
You know what I
mm.
mean? But if she gives it to Teresa, then the stands are coming for your very solid neck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
but she has to give it to Teresa in such a way where the fans don't really, they can come for her, but they're gonna have to be like, damn, that was a good one.
that will never happen. I'm so sorry. That will never happen with Teresa stands. No, 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 no. I'm being so for real.
Are
That
you sure? Are you sure? Like
Ma-
they Are
Please
you
find me a
sure?
situation. Please do me a favor, man. Find me a
I'm just
situation
kidding. I'm
in
just
the
kidding.
history of this New Jersey Housewives. Please, where
I'm just
Teresa stands have ever been like, oh, Teresa, you shouldn't have done that.
yeah, you should. No, I'm just kidding. But sometimes like when somebody says something, you're like, damn, that was good. That was good. That was a good one. But Rachel, I don't think has the capacity to come that hard. To like
Really?
make even no, I don't think so.
That's
Like
fair.
that wasn't a great read at that table. It was not a great read at that table. I don't even know if it wasn't even a read. It was just like a hurl of insults to
It
her.
wasn't
So
a great
no.
read. I think, like, imagine if it were like Kenya or Nene, it wouldn't be a great read. But because of the nature of what she said to the person that she said, I think that it wasn't great, but it was good.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
if she's calling
Yeah.
upon Teresa's intelligence and referring to her as a stupid person or emotionally incompetent, then she's
Then she's
just, if the shoe fits, the shoe
point.
fits. You know?
Yeah, it's on point. And
I
and
think
and
that because of that, I have to keep watching her a little bit. But I was like, do you have potential to be like a decent reader?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't
We'll
think
have to
so.
watch
New
and see.
Jersey, that's one of the things that New Jersey lacks is a good reader. Like
Mm,
they don't they lack it. It could have been Jackie.
Jennifer
It,
Aiden. But
Jennifer
sometimes,
Aden's reads are like childish though.
yeah, and she's
Like,
corny. Like when you're
yeah.
like, well, you're a booger wolf. It's like, Jen, bro, like
But
you had us at
look
Merriam-Webster, like
uh,
double. You were giving double. You had them both together, were whacking their heads, and you come next season, you tell us booger wolf. Oh man, that one disappointed me.
I know that I'm crying, but it had me pick up my phone to look up what the heck a booger wolf was because I was like, wait, what?
But Mare, no, I need you to stop. And I'm about to be Melissa. I will never let you forget it. You are a wordsmith. So tell me that you would ever use the word booger wolf in a sentence.
I
And
wouldn't. I
actually,
would not. I would not. I would not. I
it
would
was
not.
so
But
flat. It felt
it was
flat. Oh, that made me so mad because I'm like, Jen, you
booger wolf,
just had them with Merriam-Webster.
booger wolf.
She's like, oh yeah? Well, you're a booger wolf. How about that? Baby girl. I feel like even Teresa could do better than that.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
as long as she rehearsed, she could do better than that. Like, it's when you just said "baby girl," it just reminded me of the whole thing that happened with this in the courthouse. Baby girl,
Who?
please, baby girl. Like, you don't get it? Come on,
No,
D.
what
Come
courthouse? I'm so sorry. I'm so confused.
on. In the United States, courthouse with beach blonde, bad
Oh
built
my goodness. Oh my
body.
goodness.
The
Oh.
way, the way, oh my God, what the heck is her name? Not,
I know. Oh
oh,
my goodness.
one from New York. The one with the way she was like, baby girl. Like, I was like,
It wasn't a
okay, what?
courthouse. It was Congress.
Congress, yes,
That's why I
whatever.
was
Okay,
confused.
sorry. I was just in the courthouse today, y'all. I'm so sorry. So,
No worries.
when you said baby girl, I was like, okay, like baby, like the way that Ortazio Cortez had said baby girl. It
Oh,
was like
AOC.
AOC
Mm-hmm.
had said baby girl. It was like leading up to a
She about to.
good
She
read.
about to
I'm
really.
like, I'm about to
Yeah. She
start.
about to
It was
read
like it
her
was like
for
weak.
filth.
The way you're talking about like how it was a little flat. Like, it's like kind of
Mm-hmm.
like how that was a little flat.
Mm-hmm.
But then,
Mm-hmm.
a
Bad.
read.
What is it? Bad butch body.
Bleach
Wow, blonde.
blonde,
But yeah.
bad built, butch body, baby. The way it rolled off of her tongue, the way it
It
went
was
like,
smooth. It was
I was
real
like,
smooth.
baby.
Yeah. It was real smooth.
That was good. And how many of you knew that that was an alliteration? And that's how hard that is, right? Like, she's beach blonde, bad built, butch body. Imagine if that was said on The Housewives.
I. This is why I kind of feel like that's the direction that Potomac should have
That's
gone
what
in.
much to go into. I
I
know.
told you that.
I'm feeling you. I'm
That's the
feeling you.
direction that they should have gone. They should have gone
I'm
in the
feeling you.
more political
Yeah.
route, like the
Yeah.
Wendy's. Who's the woman that's on? There's a newscaster, Stacey Roosh, who's also a
Mhm.
newscaster. Like they
Mhm.
should have gone down that route, but
Yeah.
Hey, who am I? They got Giselle. Anyways, okay, so there's no there is no reunion New Jersey. So people has reported that child, let me get this correct because I don't want to mess up misrepresent people's words. Um so people, the magazine has reported that that's not the article.
There will be.
That they won't have a traditional reunion.
Mhm.
So they'll have a reunion, but it will not be a traditional reunion. Um, they can exclusively confirm that for the first time in the history of this East Coast-based reality series, that there will not be a traditional reunion. A reunion is meant to have resolution, and it's clear in the season finale that there is no path forward in that type of setting. An insider familiar with the situation tells People. So the network is figuring out a different concept to wrap up the season. We know that RHONJ has been fractured for quite some time. And honestly, I think that I don't really care for a reunion either, because what exactly are they going to talk about at this reunion? The two main characters hate each other, and they have vowed
Mhm.
to never speak again. I don't really care to talk about Danielle and her beef or her fight with Jen. I don't really care about Teresa's made up beef with the Fudas. I don't really care that Jackie has flipped sides and we just continue to. I just don't care. I
Yeah.
do not care what at all. So, the highest thing that they'll talk about that will make me like kind of like maybe be like, oh, so cute, is Teresa and Melissa both talking about how they sent their children off to school. Other than that, I'm not
Yeah,
interested.
because yeah, because I'm trying to really think about like what was like a big storyline currently. What is a big storyline currently this season? And really, there's really not a major storyline that's like flowing.
Hmm.
But I did hear from you guys can check this out on at the Bravo Babe on Instagram. Andy Cohen was talking with Kiki Monique on the podcast and talking about the fact that there's not going to be a reunion this season. And he was saying that, well, because of the way that the season finale ended, right? And the producers and him, they went back and watched it. They had made the decision and said, like, you know what? It was actually kind of sort of a reunion in and of itself, that last episode, right?
Mm.
And it's one of those classic, as he says, classic. You know how he has to big up certain things, classic Jersey finales, right? And just seeing that finale, it was like there's like no need for them to come back and talk about anything. And that's why they decided on not having a reunion, but they'll do, like people had reported, they'll do something else in place of that. And
I
which is
don't care.
interesting because I think we've seen the previews of that dinner that's going to happen with Dolo looking hella good.
I
Dolo
know.
sitting there going like
Black Dolores. She does not get enough credit for being amazing. I love her.
the
Please. Yes, that
I
look
was
with the
like, I was
bone
like,
structure. Y'all have the same bone structure. Oh my gosh, you look just like her. Stop. Stop doing this to me. You look just like her.
it's just
Yes.
like sitting there like just like a
Like
mob
the
wife or something
godmother.
like that. Like, whoa. And then I'm like, okay,
She's the
but
mother.
Andy, it's not clearing. What's not clearing is it didn't seem like there was a resolution at that dinner. They were cussing each other out. They were probably throwing things at each other. So how was that a finale?
Can I be
Be
honest?
real.
It was, if you go to Melissa's Old Nose, and I think Chrissy, Pop Culture with Balls, Chrissy Balls podcast,
Yeah.
she already shared the finale and what's gonna happen throughout the entire
Yeah.
season. So I, I don't know if that's the reason why I don't care, because I already know the plot and what's about to happen. But I don't, and honestly, even without that information, I really could care less, because they're not doing anything this season that warrants me to
Warrants them
actually
even
give.
coming back. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
it's like no one's talking, and Jackie Goldschneider is being an idiot, and I just don't. Not interested.
And I just want to just plug, it's not shameless because we have no shame here, but like, plug the fact that Diana has made a post about this. So just go watch her post and comment and just share your thoughts on that because honestly, what she said was so true. Like we are tired as viewers watching people not get along. Like, if you guys are going to be icing people out, just know that your job is on the line. Because
It
guess what?
should be.
This is what is happening is that the moment you're icing people out, you're icing coworkers out, you're not going to have a productive show. It doesn't lead to work productivity. It doesn't get you the bag. It doesn't do what the needful of what's necessary. So a lot of these shows, like Potomac, honestly, like you said, D, is the next one. It is on the it was
On the
last season
brink.
in the chopping. It's on the brink because we can't have oh team one over here and team two over here. Oh, or I'm not talking to this person or I'm not filming with this person.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And can I
Absolutely
say
ridiculous.
that there is a major difference that I want to highlight right now? And I know you're not going to like this because I know that you disagree, right? But this idea of Teresa being the show, I'm specifically using Teresa only because we're talking about New Jersey, right? But I
Yeah.
think the representation and the my goodness, what are my words?
Find it, girl. Find it. I'm giving you good Merriam-Webster dictionary. Go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead, girl.
sorry.
So you
Anyways,
knit
the
this.
representation of or the figurehead that
Yes.
Teresa
Yes.
is the
The
show.
center.
Apply that to other housewife shows where they have pedestaled
Well.
one person.
Mm-hmm.
Potomac, right? Where they
Mm-hmm.
try to say that Giselle is the show or Giselle brings the drama or whatever the case is. It's not working for these shows.
No, it's
Now,
not.
go over to the West Coast. As much as I don't like this person, I have to like kind of think about this a little bit. Beverly Hills, Kyle, that's the quote unquote queen of Beverly
Right.
Hills or whatever the case
Right.
is, right? Kyle is in a place where she has conflict with the women, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody is getting iced out by Kyle. She
Correct.
still is able to bring and get everybody together,
Right.
similar to Nene.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting to me that the housewife shows that someone is not so much. I do believe in Beverly Hills, like Kyle obviously is, because she's the only standing OG
Mm-hmm.
member of that show, but still equally, I think they, maybe not equally, but I do think that all of the women people are interested in or not
Yeah.
interested in or whatever. There's
Yeah.
like, there's story there for all of the
Yeah.
women.
Mm-hmm.
Over in New Jersey, where they have pedestaled one person and one character, now we see what's happening.
Yeah.
It's going completely down the drain because
Down
now
the
this one person feels emboldened and feels that they have the power to be able to dictate who is on this cast and try to dictate the environment.
Yeah.
Again, very similar to Potomac. For whatever random reason, Giselle feels emboldened to
Mm-hmm.
dictate who is going to be on the cast and who is what the environment is going to be like based on who she decides to talk to.
Mm-hmm. And
And
who's fault?
it's production, it's the network,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also
Andy
actually I don't even know if we can blame the cast because I think that I heard on a podcast that they're really in a place like they're in this almost like fishbowl environment where they lose all sight of right and wrong. Imagine being in this environment where for wrong behavior people take like you are
Mm-hmm.
championed.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of lose sight of what is right and what is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do blame production. I do blame the network. I also strongly blame the fan base. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
You know what? And I also blame Andy Cohen. I'm sorry, I do, especially for the Giselle stuff. I blame him. For the Teresa stuff, I blame him too because you need to tell these girls, these women, yeah, your job is on the line. You can't be behaving like this and think that you're going to be sitting next to me every single reunion. That's not going to happen.
Imagine
But
you go to your work and you tell your boss and everybody there, not only the consumers of
Mhm,
the nature of your job, your
mhm,
coworkers, your boss, that I'm not talking to this person because I don't like them.
mhm. Hmm,
Please tell me which job, which job,
hmm.
which one. Like, it doesn't make sense
They'll
to
look
me.
at you like you are insane.
It doesn't make sense. Imagine you
Mhm,
tell your coworkers, your whatever, that oh, I'm never going to see you again after this. Huh?
Yeah, this is crazy. But also, like, I could see it happening if your boss was a toxic person, right?
Fair.
Um,
And
and
that's the
I,
piece, the toxicity.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, so we will see what's going to happen in the rest of the seasons. We'll still keep covering New Jersey for you guys, and we'll be covering Dubai for you all.
I'm going to
But
try.
we love your thoughts. We engage with you guys as much as we can, and we just welcome it. So please, please, please don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. You can find us at Reality Check Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok at the same name, Reality Check Podcast. And you can find us on Twitter at reality underscore P. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Where else? Am I forgetting another medium? And
Oh,
also on
please do like, share, subscribe. Yep. Follow us, star, rates, whatever,
YouTube.
on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. That's
Not
still a thing.
anymore because Google
Okay.
Podcasts is kind of going
Away.
away.
Okay.
But you can find us on Apple Podcasts, absolutely, and on
And
YouTube for
YouTube.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube for sure. All
And
at the same
Spotify.
name.
There's one
And
more. Yeah.
Spotify.
There was one more. Okay.
Definitely. Those three. We appreciate your time, everybody, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Please come back and we'll see you again. Thank you. Have a great
Bye, y'all.
day.
See ya.
Bye.